Hi guys. Hi guys. What's good, everybody? Welcome to We Learn English.
Hi guys, what's
I'm
good
Dhiraj
everybody?
Sir.
Welcome to We Learn English.
Hi guys. I hope all of you are doing fantastic. Yeah. It is wonderful to see so many of you. Good evening, all of you. Good evening. I hope all of you are super excited for the session, as I have been. Great, great, great. So this monsoon season going on, rainy season. How many of you like rainy season? Yeah, it's nice, right? The The climate is nice. It's calm. It's peaceful. It's beautiful, and of course, with beautiful climate, talking and using English conversations is a fun like that. Okay. For those who don't know me yet, you can check out my introduction video, the very first video. Um, I'll just introduce myself in short. Dhiraj Sir, that's what my name is, and I've been teaching English for more than 9.5 years. Academic English, communicative English as well. Okay. For more information, please watch that video because you have enough information in the first video. Okay. So what's today's topic? What is that we can do when you find English language learning difficult, challenging, especially if you are a beginner? Okay. So all of you, are you all excited for the session? Can we start the session here? Okay, so I'm just trying to use American accent here. We watch English movies, listen to English music. That's the way Americans sound, and even British, for example. So we might learn all that as well later. Okay, how about this? Would you like to have this rocking session right away? Show me the excitement in the chat. Does this accent appeal to you? Do you like it? Already. So many of you like the accent here. Thank you for the compliments, guys. Somebody said I look good today. Thank you. I look good because I'm excited, and that's all because of you. Thank you so much for the amazing participation. Okay. So before we begin today's topic, okay, which is the five special ways that we're going to discuss when we are fearful about learning English. Okay, when we feel learning English looks difficult. But before that, I have something for you. A wonderful story. Let's start with the story. Okay, listen to this. Once upon a time, somewhere in some village, there used to be an old man. Okay, that old man used to be sad always. Right from the beginning, he was sad. As time passed, he became sadder and sadder and sadder. Days passed, weeks passed, months passed, years passed. So he became more sad. He became sadder and sadder. But suddenly, people realized because of his sadness, nobody wanted to be with him. So everybody kind of ignored his company because it became very toxic for the people. He used to be sad and depressed always. Yes, everybody has problems in their lives, but then he just preferred being sad. Okay. And one thing was he was always chasing happiness. He was always trying to run after happiness. That is what all the villagers noticed. Everybody in the village. And everybody was like, क्या ये आदमी हमेशा sad रहता है. It doesn't really make any sense to be with him. But then as time passed, when he turned 80 years old in his 80s, which is kind of very old age, when your energy levels are low, your skin is tattered, kind of thing. Okay. Suddenly he was happy in his 80s. This was like a sudden, uh, unexpected reality for the villagers. It was like a surprise. And the villagers were excited. They wanted to know if somebody who was always unhappy, who was just chasing happiness, is so happy and was truly happy. He was excited. He was blissful. He was ecstatic. And everybody wanted to know the secret of his happiness. Like what makes him so happy at this old age? And then he tells them a beautiful secret when the entire village gathered and went to meet him. To know what that secret is, what the suspense is, stay tuned with me. Okay, so for now, let's start with the topic, and then we can, uh, I'll, we can talk about the suspense of the story. Okay, all right. So, what are these five special things we can do? Five special tips to make sure that you do not be fearful about learning English anymore, especially if you are a beginner. Okay, tip number one, the most important tip, the most important advice is break the bondage of like or dislike in your mind towards English language. See, understand, हमारे life में I'll use Hindi also because I have been getting comments to use both a mix of English, of course English more and a bit of Hindi as well. Because people are like, okay, we have come here to learn English, so please use Hindi as well. I will use, of course, mostly English and a bit of Hindi as well. Okay, yeah, this is what some students have requested. So I'll of course acknowledge that request. So आप देखोगे ना हमारे लाइफ में if we see anything that we like doing, we naturally do it with a lot of passion, a lot of involvement. And anything that we fix in our mind, saying that there is something that we don't like or we dislike it, we kind of our mind gets averse to it. When I say our mind gets averse to it, that is you would naturally try to avoid it. So this is the number one mistake we make. We try to have the same approach towards English language. See, if you're really serious, if you're really, really sincere and passionate and really wish to have English fluency or proficiency, this is one thing that you need to really work on. You do not have to worry about whether you like English or you dislike English. You just have to understand this is the need of the hour today. You may love your mother tongue, you may love your national language or whatsoever, but English today is declared a global language. Okay, so this is not a matter of you liking it or you disliking it. So we need to break that bondage of like or dislike. See, this applies for other things also. Anything and everything we do in life. You can have personal choices of likes and dislikes for other things in your life. It could be for your hobbies, for the career goals, for two people you be with. But then when it comes to irritated or you will be frustrated with this when you learn English, uh, okay, yeah, it is buffering a little, but now it's okay. Yeah, so of course we may have some technical issues. That's okay, and I guess it's not buffering anymore. Is it buffering now? It's fine now, right? Okay, good. So that's what I was talking about. The like, the like or dislike. So do not try to have this boundaries of like or dislike in your mind towards English. It's a question of compulsion. It's a question of the need of the hour. You would not get irritated when you learn English. You just have to remove that bondage of disliking it. Okay. You may or may not follow British people or Americans or other native English speakers, but we must like the language. So tip number one, this bondage of like or dislike in the mind towards English language will work against us. So get rid of that. Okay. Tip number two, let's understand that English language is a social phenomenon. It's not our personal thing. This very much connects to the first point. For example, if you love your national language, for example, Hindi, or if you love your mother tongue, let's say Gujarati for that matter, or Punjabi for that matter, of course, we have to respect other languages as well. Other languages are really important. We are not trying to belittle the importance of other languages. But using English or having fluency in English, it's not a personal choice anymore. It's a social phenomenon. Now, what do I mean by that? Almost more than 70% of the world has taken up to English language. It's now a global language, language of internet, language of science, technology, media. So we must take it up. We may have deep emotions about our mother towards our mother tongue, and it's good to have deep emotions towards mother tongue or our national language or any other any other matter. But the fact of the matter is that use learning English is not a personal phenomenon. It's a social requirement. So you may use other languages personally, but then when it comes to doing something in society, especially when it comes to career, creating some influence in society, English is the need of the hour. See, understand one thing, samajh lo. We humans have, uh, we humans have given importance to English language uh, unanimously. Like it is a majority factor. So anything that rules the majority, that is given a lot of importance by majority of human beings all over the world, it becomes the need of the hour. It becomes the must, the most important thing. Okay. See, the reasons could be different. Maybe a lot of importance given to American culture, British culture, foreigners, or there are historical reasons as well. If English was not the reason, if English was not the language today, if English were not given that level of importance today, let's say if Hindi were given that level of importance, if German was given that level of importance, or if Mandarin as a language was given a lot of importance, so we would be learning those languages today and not English, right? So it is a majority that is what is decided to learn English. So do not talk about your personal choice here. This is a social phenomena. It's the need to succeed in society. That's tip number two. Okay. Now, once you understood these two tips, the third very important point is to understand the psychology of a language, especially English language here. Let's understand this. This is a very important point. When I say psychology, besides being a teacher of English, I have been a human psychologist as well. So we will also connect psychology, how your mind works, with the influence of a language, with the use of a language. Okay, so I'll tell you how. See, for example, now I want to speak something, or I want to write something, or I want to read out something. I cannot do it without my thought process, that is without the use of my mind, right? So if I want to speak something, first I think about that idea. Okay. If I want to write something, first I think about what I want to write. If I want to read something, there is again clarity of thought process required. Okay. So what I'm trying to talk about is the most important aspect that we need is clarity of thought process, your thinking process. Your language is directly connected to your thought process. So if your thought process is clear, you can use language better. Okay. So that's what I'm talking about, the psychology of it. Uh, Language basically is like this. Now, I have a thought, emotion. Any human being has a thought, emotion, feeling, imagination, whatever happening in the mind. It is anyway happening in the mind. Now, what language does is language gives you an opportunity or a way to express what is happening in your mind. That's all that language does. Okay, expressing your thoughts, emotions, feelings. That's what we do. So getting the psychology of the language right, getting clarity of your thought process. The clearer your thought process, the better the fluency. Okay, the better the use of language. See, of course, we will learn the language. मतलब language को सीखने के लिए grammar, vocabulary, phrases, idioms, collocations, जो भी components चाहिए रहता है, of course that will be done. But without knowing the psychology of language, you will be fearful. Like if you do not have clarity of thought process, what is that you want to talk about? Clarity of thought process in terms of what you want to write or other aspects as well. Even if you have a lot of vocabulary in your head, even if you have a lot of grammar in your head, you might stammer, because the clarity of thought process is the key to expressing yourself using English language or communicating in English language. So that's tip number three. Understand the psychology. having a clear thought process. We will talk about this in detail in the upcoming videos. How is that we can get our thought process right and use it to the benefit of English fluency. Okay. I told you we will talk about psychology of languages soon in the upcoming videos. Okay. Now, once you have understood these three tips, what was the tip number one? Tip number one is do not worry about like or dislike. Do not have this boundaries of like or dislike in your mind towards English language. You like it or you don't like it, that's not the point. There are a lot of things in our life that we probably don't like, but then still we have to do it. Not negatively, not making a fuss out of it, but just understanding that it's always wonderful, it's always the best to react as the situation demands. So, what is the situation in the world today? In terms of global requirement of language, it's English. So, you may or may not like it, but then it has to be done. So, looking at it as compulsion, okay? Not negatively, not getting irritated about it, but positively looking at it as compulsion and making it a part of our daily schedule. Okay. Second point, second tip that I told you, that you understand that language is not a personal choice. English language is not a personal choice. It's a social phenomenon. Just because it's a global language, we are trying to give it a lot of importance. Okay, I told you if Hindi were a global language, we would give that language importance. If German was a global language, or if Mandarin was a global language, we would be learning those languages. So it's a game of majority. And it's a world language today, a global language. So majority has taken up English language. Anything and everything that is happening these days is happening in English language. Science, technology, career, education. So that's tip number two. Third is I just told you, you'll understand the psychology, that is get clarity of thought process. Because without clear thinking process, clear thought process, we can neither speak fluently, nor can we write expressively and as best as possible. Okay. Now, once we have fixed these 3 points, the fourth point is when you will start using language as a beginner, English language, you will make mistakes. Get this very clear from me. Whoever you are, wherever you are, how much ever successful you already are, we will never stop making mistakes. Mistake is your enemy if we do not learn from it. But mistake, the same mistake is a friend, is a world's best teacher if we learn from it. So do not be embarrassed about making mistakes. That's tip number four. Do not criticize yourself. There are people who may make fun of you when you will make mistakes while using English. Yes, there are people who will maybe discourage you. There are people who would maybe envy you or something like that. Let's not let's not let all those factors get affected over our mind. Okay. So what I mean to say is making mistakes is okay as long as we learn from them. Mistakes, trust me, the world's best teacher is your own mistake. Nobody else can teach you better than you trying to learn from your own mistake. Okay. So when you next time you speak, you write something, you read something, you're listening to a language, you might make mistakes. And you have to acknowledge those mistakes. Just learn to accept, acknowledge, and the most important thing, not repeating the mistake. Because if we repeat the mistakes and not learn from it, it will work against us. Mistake is not a problem. Mistake is always considered a negative thing. Hey, you made a mistake. क्या कर रहा तूने mistake कर दिया, mistake कर दिया, ये mistake कर दिया. Something like that. People react this way. But the mistake is not a negative thing. It is a negative thing only if we don't learn from it. But mistake is a wonderful teacher, a wonderful friend if we learn from it. So acknowledge your mistakes and keep learning from your mistakes. That is rectifying the mistakes. That's tip number four. And the last one, the most important tip is to understand that there are four aspects to using English or any language for that matter. So because we're talking about English here, I will talk about English. That is, एक तो हम बात करते हैं, so we call it spoken English, written English, the writing part of English, reading a language, and listening. So these are four aspects. Trust me, The approach to learn these four aspects of English is different. Every aspect has a different approach. Now, you cannot be just watching Hollywood movies and expect that you will speak fluently or write flawlessly or even read flawlessly. That's not the point. It doesn't work. Every approach, every aspect of language, spoken, written, reading, and listening, it has different requirements. It takes a different approach. For example, when it comes to spoken, so when we speak, there are two most important things. One is the clarity of pronunciation, that is when you speak, and the clarity of what you want to speak. Okay, so you may have to worry about intonation there. But same is not the case. You don't have to worry about the intonation in written English. What is intonation? When we just change our voice, the ups and downs, the high pitch or the low pitch. Or for example, if I say, "Hey, my name is Dhiraj, and today I'm happy to be on this channel. We learn English." You see the voice modulation I just made. Did you notice the voice modulation? Sometimes it goes high pitch, it may go low pitch, it may be neutral. So this is called modulation or intonation. This is not required in written aspect of English, of course. But in the written aspect, you need spelling. You need spelling fluency. We need the writing fluency in terms of format. We need the knowledge of punctuations. Okay. What is intonation and modulation in spoken is expressed by punctuations in written. For example, if there is a pause, if you want to start a new paragraph, or use of all the punctuations that we have. Okay, so that's a different thing. Now, when we are reading it, reading again is a different approach altogether. There is a text in front of you, and then when you want to read it, two most important things are how well you comprehend the language, how fast you interpret it, and how clearly you pronounce the text that how clearly you will speak out the text that you will be reading. I'm basically talking about your rate of speech. Rate of speech will differ according to the situation. But what matters is whatever is written in front of me, and when I have to read it, that text, my mind must be able to interpret it, understand it as quick as possible. Then I can play with my rate of speech. But if I have to speak fast somewhere, I'll speak fast. If I have to lower my rate of speech, as the situation demands, I'll do it. And if I have to make it neutral, I can do that as well. So you can always twitch and play with your rate of speech if the interpretation is really good about the reading aspect. The last aspect is the listening part of it, the listening to English. हमने ये पहले भी बात की थी कि listening skill is as important as as important as speaking skills. Okay, why? Because only when you listen to the message clearly is then you can speak relevantly. You can speak effectively. So when I say listening, listening is a game of paying attention. If you're listening to an audio, listening to a video, watching a video and listening to its audio, you're listening to somebody's talk, you're listening to somebody's learning. What it takes to listen effectively is complete attention. Okay, so once you pay attention to the listening aspect, it is very natural for your mind to speak effectively. It becomes very natural to write effectively. Okay, लैंग्वेज द सेम बट देन उसको अलग अलग तरीके से यूज किया जाता है. स्पोकन यूज करने के लिए एक तरीका है, रिटन यूज करने के लिए दूसरा तरीका है. टू रीड इट आउट देयर इज अनदर वे, एंड टू लिसन इट्स अ डिफरेंट अप्रोच. So that's the most important thing when you are trying to learn or use English. So these are the 5 quick tips. Number one, do not worry about the like or dislike in your mind. Break that bondage. That's number one. Number two is understand English language is not a personal choice. It's a social phenomenon. It's the need of the hour in the society or in the world. Third, you understand the psychology of a language. Okay, the clarity of your thought process. Unless we have clear thought process, we cannot use our language the way it is required. Okay. Fourth, the most important thing. I feel fourth one is the most important thing, the most important point. That is, you learn from your mistakes. Okay. Make your mistakes your own best teachers. Let others may, it's okay that others make fun of it. They might be sarcastic. They might try to discourage you. That will anyway happen. There are, we will talk about that also. How is that you can deal with the criticism or something like that in upcoming videos. But be okay with it. Learn from your mistakes. Acknowledge your mistakes. And the fifth one is understand that speaking is a different approach. Written writing, fluency, proficiency is a different approach. Reading is a different approach, and listening is a different approach. All right. So I hope you all like these 5 points here, 5 tips. All right. This is what you can use in your daily conversations. Practice these 5 tips, and next time you speak English, speak confidently. It's okay to make mistakes as long as we are learning from it. And that's it. Thank you so much for this amazing participation today. I have one word for all of you because of this amazing participation. We are going through challenging times. Still, you guys are so much enthusiastic about learning. This really needs to be appreciated. So I appreciate your efforts of showing positive approach towards learning. You guys are real champions. And so that's it. I'll sign off for today. Stay tuned. And until next time, yes, one last thing. The before we end this session is the suspense of the story. So what happens with that old man? So old man used to be sad. I'm talking about the story that we started at the beginning of at the in the middle of the session. The old man was sad throughout his life. Towards the end, what happens when he was 80 years old? Every suddenly was happy, so the entire village went to him and asked for the secret of his happiness. One beautiful, enlightening message that he gave was, if you stop, unless you stop chasing happiness, the moment you stop chasing happiness and just be happy by your own nature, you learn to be happy by your own nature. Only then you can do fantastic things in the world. So it's about being happy, being peaceful, being positive, and then doing things. It's not about trying to chase happiness. Okay, so this is what is really required, especially when you're trying to learn something. You learn it happily, you learn it positively, and that's like a good message from that story. Okay, that's it. I'm signing off. Do not forget to like it if you really found this worth it, or if you really like the tips there. Share it with anybody and everybody. Subscribe to the channel so that you can get timely updates. You do not miss on the important upcoming videos. And yeah, that's it. Take care, all of you. God bless. We are going through the challenging times. Keep your humanity on. Keep helping one another. We can always have competition, but then make sure we also keep our humanity on. And especially in these challenging times, take care of yourself. Stay fit. Stay healthy. Take care of your family. And God bless you all. Thank you.